The revolutionary movements gripping the Middle East have created uncertainty throughout the region. But in the eyes of the Iranian regime, the chaos means their ultimate victory is at hand. CBN News has obtained an exclusive copy of a propaganda video that's reportedly been approved at the highest levels of the Iranian government. It's called "The Coming is Near," and it describes current events in the Middle East as a prelude to the coming of the mythical 12th Imam, or Mahdi, the Messiah figure who Islamic scriptures say will lead the armies of Islam to victory over all non-Muslims in the last days.
Then the king shall do according to his own will. He shall exalt and magnify himself above every god, shall speak blasphemies against the God of gods, and shall prosper till the wrath has been accomplished. For what has been determined shall be done. He shall regard neither the God of his fathers, nor the desire of women, nor regard any god, for he shall exalt himself above them all. But in their place he shall honor a god of fortresses, and a god which his fathers did not know he shall honor with gold and silver, with precious stones and pleasant things. Thus he shall act against the strongest fortresses with a foreign god, which he shall acknowledge and advance its glory, and he shall cause them to rule over many and divide the land for gain.
The video claims that Iran is destined to rise as a great power in the last days to help defeat America and Israel and usher in the return of the Mahdi. And it makes clear the Iranians believe that time is fast approaching. The video states that America's invasion of Iraq was foretold by Islamic scripture, and that the Mahdi will one day soon rule the world from Iraq. The ongoing upheavals in other Middle Eastern countries like Yemen and Egypt, including the rise of the Muslim Brotherhood, are also analyzed as prophetic signs that the Mahdi is near. Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Khamenei, and Hassan Nasrallah, leader of Iran's terrorist proxy Hezbollah, are hailed as pivotal end-times players, whose rise was predicted in Islamic scriptures. The same goes for Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, who the video says will conquer Jerusalem prior to the Mahdi's coming. Khalili says the coming is near will soon be distributed by the Iranian regime throughout the Middle East. He says their goal is to instigate further uprisings in Arab countries.
The annual pilgrimage to the Kaaba in Mecca and to certain key holy sites within the vicinity of Mecca is called the Hajj. The Hajj only takes place once a year, between the 8th and the 13th days of Dhu Hijjah, the 12th and final month of the Muslim lunar calendar. Every Muslim whose health and wealth allows him or her to do so should undertake a pilgrimage to Mecca at least once in his or her lifetime. This obligation is the fifth of the 5 pillars of Islam. For Muslims, the Kaaba stands at the sacred center of the world as the one shrine dedicated to the worship of the one God. According to Islamic teaching, it was originally built by the prophets Abraham and Ishmael, peace be upon them both, and intended to be the focal point for all human worship of the Almighty.
And water cannons as protesters responded with stones and homemade barricades. Activists also tried to break through police lines and attack the Prime Minister's office. Many have been injured, with shops and universities being turned into makeshift hospitals. The US has urged the Turkish security forces to, quote, exercise restraint. And Turkish Prime Minister rejected the accusations of being a dictator and dismissed the protesters as an extremist fringe.
Hours later, the army told the reformers to go back home as Mubarak backers, throwing petrol bombs and wielding sticks, gathered on the outskirts of the central square and tried to gain entry. Now the government is calling for an end to the protest before talks over constitutional change can begin. But the activists are refusing, building up to Friday's planned march on the presidential palace.
At the time of the end, the king of the south shall attack him, and the king of the north shall come against him like a whirlwind, with chariots, horsemen, and with many ships. And he shall enter the countries, overwhelm them, and pass through. He shall also enter the glorious land, and many countries shall be overthrown, but these shall escape from his hand, Edom, Moab, and the prominent people of Ammon. There are also 7 kings. 5 have fallen, 1 is, and the other has not yet come. And when he comes, he must continue a short time.
Would see Israel launching a limited, surgical, preemptive strike, attacking with long-range aircraft and armed drones, firing cruise missiles from its submarines in the Arabian Sea, or launching its latest Jericho 3 missiles. And Iran would have to retaliate.
If Iran retaliates,
The beast that was and is not is himself also the 8th, and is of the 7, and is going to perdition.
or Israeli ally in the region is a potential target.
Iran's ally, Syria, could also join in. Plus Iran's proxy forces, like Hezbollah in Lebanon, would fire rockets into Israel.
But news from the east and the north shall trouble him. Therefore he shall go out with great fury to destroy and annihilate many.